Hello, everyone. This is Enrique and Himanshu. This is the content editor weekly catch up, where we discuss the implementation of the content editor MVC and its integration in the wiki. So the first item that we have in the agenda uh, is about meta conversation for discussing our collaboration strategy. So Himanshu and I were discussing that our current collaboration strategy is stressful and not very productive because most of the collaboration that we are doing happens synchronously over pairing sessions, and um, that demands from us to be together at the same time for more than an hour. And when you combine that with other meetings that happen through the day, it can become very painful. Um, so we are gonna now talk about it, like find ways of alternative to keep collaborating and be on the same page, but not relying so much on pairing sessions for doing that. So I wrote a more detailed description of the problem here in the document. But I think that the main difference with the previous milestone, where we were collaborating as well, is that you, Himanshu, were implementing the wiki for migration, and I was working on the content editor scaffolding. And we didn't have that much necessity of interacting. But now we are like working the same thing at the same time, and that demands a different set of tools and decisions. Um, so yeah, that I think that the reason this is happening is that we perhaps haven't dedicated a lot of time to discuss this. So this is a good opportunity to do so. And I feel like when I start the week, uh, like sometimes I feel that I don't have like specific goals that I can accomplish on my own. So I feel lost. And when we finish, for example, a pairing session, I don't know what to do after that. In my case, it's like I have the pairing sessions in the morning and I have the entire afternoon to continue working, but I don't know how to continue make progress. So I want like find a way of addressing that. Uh, so yeah, like the solutions that I think that we could like implement my proposals are like using this meeting to define goals and know like, okay, this week each of us want to accomplish this. And if there are blocking parts between our work, perhaps we can implement them in very small merge requests. So if we can merge it within a week, we know that we are unblocking each other. And another solution is that if we have pairing sessions, I think that they should have very specific goals, so they are not like that stressful. And if we like actually like focus on that small goal, accomplish that, and after that we have action items, then we are like doing actual progress. Yeah, those are my thoughts. What do you think, Himanshu?
I think what we can do is like last release, what we are working on were two separate issues, but we were still doing pair programming sessions. But the key difference was that uh, both of us were responsible for like mainly responsible for shipping one feature, and the other person who was pair programming on that was like more like a reviewer or what you would say, uh, yeah, kind of a reviewer and like someone who uh, I'm not sure what the other person is called. One of them is called a driver, and another is called uh, a viewer. I don't know. No. So, so what we have been doing this week is like we have been working on the same issue, but we have been switching between who is the driver and who is the viewer, and that kind of and also the lack of clear goals makes it a little bit difficult to work together. So what I would suggest is we can divide the tools, divide the issues. So let's say there are issues related to the wiki. One of us can take care of integration of stuff with wiki. Like for example, we need to add stuff like how error handling works between when switching between formats, and how to integrate everything with backend so that our custom Markdown format is saved. So that is very wiki specific. And even if we don't have a content editor in place for that, it should work fine. And there is then other stuff that is very content editor specific, like creating a toolbar and adding support for Markdown common mark extension. So I would suggest that we split our work, but that doesn't mean we would reduce the collaboration. It's just that uh, we are kind of assigning a DRI for some specific work to each of us, so that we know that this is the direction we need to go forward in. And if you are stuck, we can start do a pairing session perhaps. I think in the
Sorry, I
last
interrupted.
release, yeah, so set DRIs for various different issues. So I would suggest, uh, for example, we can do so like two directions we can go is wiki specific work, and so yeah, so it is, and actually there's actually three directions you can go. Content editor specific, actually, and third one is yeah. So we are not focusing on the toolbar right now because that is focused for the next release. And I'm hoping that some of the wiki specific work can be taken care of in this release. So in the next release, we can continue this same DRI theory, but we split the our work. So like one of us, like I am suppose responsible for common mark extension, and then you can work on the toolbar thing next release.
Okay. Um, yeah, sounds good. I think that that finding like those like those let's say group of work that can happen in isolation is very good for us to make progress individually. Um, but I I still have a doubt about if that will like are we going to end up like making decisions in isolation, because that's the point of collaboration. Like we actually like take every week and every work that we are doing, and we are trying like to discuss it together and come up with a joint uh, solution that we discuss, and we like we agree to move forward in that way. So how do you
Yeah,
think that we could achieve that? Like, like, okay, we make
I think,
progress. Mhm.
yeah. So what I was saying is, I think we can continue by this DRI thing. Like we make progress on our own, and then we, like every iteration, let's say like maybe we ask each other uh, for review on our work in progress MR. So that would reduce dependency on having these meetings, because uh, and that would also give us more context. So if you actually want to pair program, uh, it would be actually more productive, and we would not spend time thinking about what to do. And Like we would basically come prepared for the pair programming session and not be all exhausted towards the end of it.
Cool. So what you mean is that um, for the discussion of how we are doing something, we would just rely on code reviews, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, that's not, uh, yeah, code reviews basically, but we discuss asynchronously on MR. That's also better for everyone because, like, if we discuss things uh, in the call or in the pair programming session, it's not really shared with other people. It's mostly between us, and even if we discuss things on Slack, it's again between us. So collaborating on work in progress MRs allows us to be both uh, uh, collaborate asynchronously with each other and also be transparent with rest of the team so that they can see what's actually going on.
That's true. That's like way more transparent because everything is
Yeah,
in GitLab and it's asynchronous by
yeah,
default.
yeah. And also, for example, last week, we did a pair programming session and we come up with a paradigm on like let's say how we're going to uh, like create uh, what were the serializers. So we were coming up with a paradigm for serializers and how serializers are going to work. And we would create that MR, uh, but but that wouldn't really that's between us. That's not really documented how we came to that conclusion. So if we uh, do a discussion on MRs, it can be really useful for future maintainers uh, to see why that approach is better than like what other approaches we had. Yeah, so
That's
in
true.
turn, it actually it reduces the review time eventually to merge it in master.
That's true. That's true. I completely agree. I think that like pairing is good when you actually feel like that asynchronous communication perhaps is like taking too long because we are having like a lot of back and forth. But perhaps that's not the case for us. Like we didn't even need like this synchronous communication because we haven't even had the chance of testing if if we are having like this difficult time moving forward. Like we haven't even tried doing it in MR discussions. So I think that it's worth giving it a try.
Yeah, I think it should be good, and I don't think we should be like two people should be working on the same MR. I mean, like there should only be one person committing to the MR, and if the other person wants to do something, they can suggest patches. So that's what I want to do. Like we should have like we sh- like so that you can be clear who the DRI here is.
Cool. What do we do with blockers? Uh, for example, let's say that we have the well, actually, I don't think like that there are necessarily blockers if we have like separate areas of work that we can each of us are DRI from. But I was thinking
Yeah,
like I want to work to get today, for example, in adding a feature flag. But if I'm not responsible of the wiki area, perhaps I shouldn't be working on the feature flag at all, right? Because you are like the person that is focused on the wiki stuff. So I think that what we should do based on this conversation is like organizing how we are gonna work on the issues assigned for this milestone.
yeah, sure, we can do that. So I think if you're more comfortable doing more container specific work, you can uh, work on the common mark extensions and add keep on adding tests for all the uh, different code blocks that that GitLab provides. So, and you can work on that. And I think that's quite important as well uh, to 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 ship to the release. And even if we don't have some things like alerting user when they switch between the format, it's mostly UX thing. Yeah, I think it should be okay. And besides, it's going to be behind the feature flag anyway. So yeah,
Cool. Okay. So
yeah.
can we
That's okay. I
dedicate
can. Yeah,
some time to create those boundaries to
yeah.
make them more specific?
Sure, we can actually do it right now. The issues that we have assigned for 1311 and 1312 are are very descriptive. So I mean they're descriptive enough, I believe. So we can actually go and like actually reassign each of us, like basically unassign the other person from whichever issues that you want to continue. So I think that will help us know who the DRI is, but that doesn't really mean that we stop collaborating. It would just mean that in the pairing sessions, that means that whoever the DRI is actually driving the pairing session whenever it's necessary.
Cool. Um, but okay, I see that, for example, the fixture flag one is like very explicit about it. Let's see. Let's see the other ones. This one is also like very descriptive. So it's like there are four issues. There are two issues that are focused uh, on line support. Um, there are two issues here. There is one that is about uh, implementing the content editor and supporting common mark and implementing the UI of the content editor. And then there are two issues that are about like integrating the content editor in the wiki page. Cool. So we just have to assign these two. You focus on the ones that are about integrating the wiki, and then I focus on implementing common mark and implementing the toolbar, right?
Actually, yeah, yes, but I would say the toolbar one. I mean, this is going to be I think it's going to be a big issue. Uh, I'm not sure though. I mean, if it's just implementing code from TipTap, it should be straightforward. I'm not sure, but yes, so we also need to split like maybe evenly between both of us. Yeah, if you can if you figure this one out and then you can work on the toolbar. We can work on the toolbar together. I mean,
Cool.
because that's for the next release anyway. The toolbar is scheduled for 13.12. So I think for this current release, uh, that would give us clear understanding of how we are splitting the issues. So I work on the feature flag and the wiki integration, and you can work on the common mark editor. And also, it's okay if it slips because we don't expect to ship anything in this release anyway. It's mostly targeted towards 13.12. But the good thing is that if we are able to ship both of these issues in this release, even if it's 1 week late, we we have like very like just one issue left to work on for the next release, and that should be very good progress for our POC. And anyways, we had like we wanted to ship it in 14.2, and we also have one extra milestone. So we should be quite ahead of progress if we are able to like just take care of these three issues.
And what happens, like in the case of this common mark issue, TipTap already provides plenty of support for all of the common mark elements. So if I
Yeah.
have capacity, I should like find something else to work on. So it's okay
Yes.
if
So
I
if you
work in
have,
the toolbar, right?
yeah, yeah, sure. It's totally. So if you have capacity, you can take up the issues from the next release.
Sounds good.
Let me just look at what issues we have. I think we have, yeah, two more issues. I think that the other one is for me. Again, it's wiki specific, so you need to handle situations between switching between different formats. So I think it's kind of like a good way to split the work.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna document the action items. Um, split issues. Um, assigned in the ones focused on the wiki integration.
We can do that right now. We have like 6 issues, so do you want to do that?
Yeah. Um, I just want to also like document
Yeah, sure.
the decisions. So what do we do? So I guess that we can use this meeting for catching up with work and perhaps like continue discussing anything that we want to discuss, right? Like in the progress that we do weekly.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's that was for me, and let's give it a try and see how it works. So
Yeah, if you
um,
open the
the
Epic, and yeah, we can spread the issues from there. You can see there are 4 issues for 1311 and 2 issues for 1312. Sorry, yeah, there are 5 issues remaining. I thought there was one more issue. Let me just see if it's not added to the Epic yet.
I felt like we had like batch 18 for issues in epics. Wasn't that a thing?
I'm not sure.
Perhaps it was like for boards.
No, you cannot do a batch writing here. I know. You have to like manually click on each of the issues. Like, I mean, they're already in the Epic. You cannot really do much here. You can just rearrange the issues. You'll have to open all of these one by one. And
Um, so I'm gonna unassign myself from this one.
yeah, you can unassign yourself.
This one is also about
Yeah, that's fine.
integration. So I'm gonna say with this one, and if I get some capacity, this Milestone, we can work on. I can pick up the work in the toolbar.
Yeah.
Cool. Oops,
Yeah, you can
I
unassign yourself from those issues as well. From the 1312, we can divide those as well if necessary.
cool. Well, let's keep it like that, and once we have to make that decision, we can do it. I don't know if like at the end we're gonna end up like working together in the toolbar, or we want like to even break down this issue more. for the next milestone.
I mean, we will be working together anyway because we do need some coordination to make sure that integration of the editor works properly. Like, I mean, we need to be sure that we are on the same page about how we organize stuff because you're going to be modifying same piece of code, although in a different folder. And I'm also going to like adding support in the same file, like to Markdown and from Markdown. You're also going to be doing the same thing. Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
that should be okay. I think we all we need to do is probably some resolve some conflicts. I think that should be okay.
Yeah, I think that, and we should, like, give it a try and see what works for us. That's what matters. That we are like working together on this and finding a way of making progress and being productive. That's way more important than any process. Um,
Yeah, and
cool.
also like personally, I believe that if there are multiple people responsible for something, that kind of makes it that no one is responsible for something. So
Yeah,
basically, shared responsibility is no responsibility. So that's also kind of it psychologically affects your mind.
yes, I think that what we should be careful of is that when we are DRI, like, we allow each other to have like a meaningful participation on each other's work. Like, we cannot go like to either extreme. Like, there is an extreme where we are both responsible for the same thing, and we are not making progress because it feels like we have to work together on it. But there's the other extreme where like, we have so much ownership that the other person cannot like make a meaningful contribution.
Oh,
Like, I think that both
I
extremes
think
are bad.
yes, I agree. Both extremes are bad, but the good thing about GitLab is that we really have a good uh, code review process, and I think we can take advantage of that to collaborate asynchronously. I think we already collaborate asynchronously with so many other reviewers and developers, and keep on sending patches to each other. That's sort of like collaboration. I think that can work for us in the same way as well.
Yeah. Cool. So, do we should we move on to the next item?
Yeah, sure.
Um, so about DCMR, so last time that we were working on this, we were discussing the serializer strategy, and I created a patch for a proposal. So first, based on the previous discussion, we are mixing here both two concerns, because there is a concern of how the content editor uh, handles the Markdown serialization, and then there's a wiki integration. So do you want like to break this work in two pieces? Oh, well, first of all, like, how do you have you seen this patch, and what do you
Yeah,
think about it?
yeah. The patch is quite similar to what we had. It's just you're providing a two HTML function, and I just need to look at it once again to. Uh, okay, so you're doing that stuff in wiki form. Yeah, I think we are overcomplicating this by trying to make it very future proof. And right now, we are really sure that it's going to be dealing with only Markdown, and I don't think there are going to be any other kinds of serializers except that the API endpoints might be a little different. So I think we can simplify it a little bit further. I don't think we really need a serializer at all. So what we can do is, let's not call it a serializer. Let's just create a wrapper around the editor that it provides you, TapTap provides you, and add serialized and unserialized functions on top of that. And then you can give it callbacks like you're already doing right now, but you're giving callbacks to the serializer. I would say just create a wrapper. I mean, basically you would just rename the serializer and call it editor wrapper or something like. So that gives us more like we don't really want it to just do serializing, right? Because we want it to handle things like pasting stuff, right? So we don't really want to create another file for pasting stuff and handling those sort of situations because it doesn't really belong in a serializer, right? We need,
Yeah, what we need is just like a way of providing the editor with a method that converts the markdown to HTML.
yeah.
Provide
So my
the
point is that,
client.
yeah, my point is that let's create a wrapper around the editor and provide it with this callback function. That's it, to convert it to HTML, and then another callback to convert it to Markdown. That's it.
Yeah, that's well, the serializer class is just like wrapping like those two functions, but it doesn't have to be like that. If you come here, um, here in this part, you see that
Yeah,
the factory function that is creating the editor is just passing the serializer. You know, we could just pass
yeah,
the to HTML function, and that's it, and it
yeah.
will be like
Exactly. That's
simpler.
my point. So you don't need the serializer. You don't need to create a new serializer. That's just redundant information. Just give information to create editor. It's already a wrapper function. So you just give it to HTML and maybe one more function. Uh, like maybe we can give it more data as we feel necessary. Yeah, we can
Cool.
even give it event handlers and stuff like that. So yeah, we can. Here we
Um,
are already giving it an object of properties. So just to HTML would be one of those properties, and we just ignore the serializer bit.
cool. So this one, like, since this is making changes to the API of the creator function, that blocks my capacity of making progress in common mark. So is it okay if I extract this part of the work into a separate MR that just focuses on providing the to HTML function?
Yes, that's okay.
Cool.
Yeah, but my point is that we don't need the serializer class anymore. We can just give the creator function takes a property to HTML and to Markdown, and just you delegate all of that to your to Markdown and from Markdown classes functions.
Yeah, definitely. I completely understood that, and I'm gonna change approach to remove the Markdown serializer class. But I still like, we still need to pass the to HTML function somehow. So
Yes,
it is
yes,
still an API change. So that's the
yes.
reason that I want like to put it in a separate MR. And merge it as quickly as possible so we don't have any blockers.
Yeah, sure, we can do that, and that also uh, improves the uh, like that also like divides the responsibility where like we're not doing too many things in the same MR.
Exactly. Awesome. So we have a plan.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, So, what else, Himanshu? Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. I'm gonna start sharing my screen then. Oh, this has been very productive, and very nice to find and have an approach that we feel both comfortable about working with. So thank you, Himanshu.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
stop the
sounds good.
recording.